kiss. Don't give me good. Could it be a destiny? Honestly, a mystery. Must be you. Cinderella, will you be there? Cinderella boy, I love you. Kimiko, you be kiss. Don't give me good. Could it be a destiny? Honestly, a mystery. Must be you. Gotta be you. Must be you. Cinderella boy, I love you. Cinderella, will you be there?
And a happy Monday evening, everyone. Trying to add some music to the stream. Trying to be like all the cool guys out there, all the cool Twitch streamers. Have some tunes going when they come in for the intro. Welcome to the channel. This is what Flight Sim looks like when it hasn't had its proper ADHD medication. Oh, yeah, we've got a little bit of a echo. Sometimes I like to do the double welcome thing, so you know that's okay. We are in Halifax, Canada, and we are going to do a little test flight today. Back a while ago, I told you that I was lucky enough to pick up 2 aircraft during the Captain Sim 20th anniversary sale. One of them was the Lockheed L-1011, which I've happily been wrestling with for the past couple of weeks. Sometimes a little more successful than others, but fun nonetheless. Where am I at here? Let me give you a good view of this baby. But I haven't had a chance to get the 737-200 out just yet, and I'm ready to give it a little test flight. Again, we're not going to do anything crazy today. We're going to fly from Halifax down to JFK and have to figure out a cool way to kind of get rid of the music here. Oh, the other thing I need to do is I need to get my little starting soon deal out. See, this is the problem, guys. When I try to be too cool, that's what happens. But alright, let's see. I don't know if the song titles are going to pop up in the chat message window all night long or not, but that's okay. If they do, cool. If they don't, no big deal. But the main thing today for us is to get this 737-200 in the air. Now, I've worked through the startup procedure already. Give you a feel for the flight plan today. We're up here in the southeastern coastline of Canada. We're going to be flying down through kind of past the Boston area where they've had some pretty good storms, and down here to Kennedy, which is in New York, where they've also had some pretty good storms. And I don't necessarily think they're maybe done just yet, but hopefully those are moving out of our path. I guess we will we will see what's going on there. Al South, MIA, glad to see that you still have power and the life is semi-normal for you, my friend. He is down in the path of Hurricane Dorian. And yeah, a little Polar Express. Yeah, I found this Canadian North livery. It actually was one of the like 800, I don't even know. There was a lot of liveries, but yeah, looks like a decently cool livery. I like it, and it seemed fitting since we're up here in Halifax. But the goal today is to treat this plane essentially like a larger version of the Duke 60, the Beechcraft Duke 60. We're going to fly this thing basically VOR to VOR today. We're going to use slant whiskey navigation essentially. And like I said, I've got all the power, all the engines are going. I better check one thing. I need to check those. Make sure that I have fuel here. Oh yeah, we were getting pretty low. So I don't know how much fuel I need. I know I don't need to be completely full, but we'll just put everything a little over halfway. I just actually did a test flight offline, so that's why that stuff is all it's all loaded up already. And I'm just getting ready to connect to VATSIM. We will have a little bit of ATC. It's Monday, so a lot of times you'll catch Moncton Monday, but I don't think they have anything going on tonight because I have not seen any ATC come online, and I don't really know. I'm not completely up to date on that schedule, but I like to be up here in the Moncton area. Power's still on, Al South says. Let's see what happens in the next few hours. Yeah, I'm hoping and praying that storm dissipates and doesn't cause you guys a whole heck of a lot of difficulty here. Did hear, sounds like somebody else is firing up here somewhere next to us. Maybe, I don't know where it's at. Oh, somebody directly behind us. Okay. Ooh, I've got lights and stuff still on here. So one question already is answered here, and that is, does it load as a saved state? And I think it's safe to say that answer is yes. Everything that I ended with, and I purposefully ended without shutting it down just to test that, but everything that I ended with is the same as far as I can tell. The only thing different was it did retract the flaps for me because I had flaps clear down to 30 on landing, but everything else is up and running and rolling, and we're going to just kind of pick up from where we left off. We'll do engine startup and all that good stuff. We'll learn about the SIVA here in just a little bit, or in future streams. And I think this is weather, but I don't know how to turn it on. So there's a lot I don't know how to do just yet, but that's okay. There are many things I do know how to do, and we're gonna be able to get this plane up in the air. Oh, I got excited there for a minute. Yes, indeed. I just have Moncton Center coming online, so that is fantastic. It looks like we do have Moncton approach, but we will be tuning Moncton Center 132.2 to get our clearance. I've flown this route a few times in the PMDG, so I'm somewhat familiar with where it goes. Hey, we've got radio contact. That's a good sign. But until you actually fly it in each plane, it's just it's a little different basically every time. So that's our goal today. Somehow our flight plan got bumped out here, so I'm having to retype in everything. Should be able to get going here though in the next 10 minutes or so. You know, it's about a 2.5 hour flight, and we will be at flight level 340. Bear with me here, folks. We have a little bit of a funky call sign with this plane, by the way. We will be Empress. I am very, very unfamiliar with this particular Canadian North airline, but that's what they say they are. Mike Papa Echo. So we will be Empress 902. From what I can gather, they mainly operate on the west coast of Canada, but we're gonna take it from here all the way down. Yeah, Empress.
miles 50 in for Halifax.
I think they like to fly the 737 combis
Aircraft calling, say call sign again.
into and out of some gravel strips and things like that. But we don't have that. We're just a normal 737-200. Okay, filing the flight plan. We'll see what happens. Ooh, something else I need to check here really quickly. We must. I mean, if we're in this bird, we must have the full experience of these turbofans. Yeah, about 60% ought to do it. They are wonderfully noisy, and I think you're going to enjoy every minute of it. No, these don't. Like I say, this doesn't have the combi kit per se. It's just the standard. I can't really get a very good look at it, but just the standard 737-200. But so far so good. I've only been in the bird probably about 2 hours total, so we'll see what happens here. I'm going to try to call and get clearance, and we'll get rolling.
Tiger 280, Moncton Center, go ahead. On the ground, Halifax, taxi for a B-Fire departure to Northwest.
Nice to have some traffic up here. I think other guys were thinking the same thing as me. While we're waiting, this is what we have. Current conditions. Surface winds 150 at Niner. We do have some overcast conditions.
VFR is approved to the northwest. Advise when you're ready for taxi. Your squawk code. You require flight following? No flight following required. Okay, advise when you're ready for taxi. Ready for taxi at this time, tanker 380.
Let this guy get himself going, and then we will push back. We're expecting, I think, a little back taxi onto, what is it here, runway.
Hey, tanker 280, runway 23.
Oh, I'm going to have to look at the chart here on Navigraph.
Taxi Alpha, apron your
So with the winds, we're kind of in this area here, I think. Let's cheat for just a second. Yeah, we're going to have to back taxi onto 14 and take off to the southeast here. And so pushing back with our nose to the right. Let's make the quick call here. Moncton Center, good evening, Empress 902.
Empress 902, Halifax. Oh, sorry, Moncton Center, go ahead.
Yes, sir, on the ground at Halifax. We'd like to pick up our IFR clearance down to JFK.
Empress 902, your clearance is number 1. Stand by, sir.
Okay. Hey, and I did also have some kind of cool news. I was able to bring up, and I think I may be just in a bad spot right here. I was able to bring up the GSX menu.
671, you're ready to identify on departure.
I'm going to back up just slightly.
380, right turn, direct mound on course.
There was a spot where I had actually the entire GSX menu come up, which was pretty cool.
Empress 902, you ready for your clearance?
Affirm, Empress 902.
Empress
Oh, man.
902, sir, you're cleared to the
Oh, my
New York
gosh.
JFK Airport via the Halifax 4 departure flight planned route. Squawk code 3107.
Okay, cleared to JFK Halifax 4 departure flight planned route, squawk 3107. And I see something a little bit crazy in my my V-pilot here. I think it may be reset on my end. Do you see the first waypoint as being Alex?
Actually, so, yeah, it's something, did you have an old flight plan or something? I've got an LAX come up just now.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Suma.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I'm going to just refile really quickly here, and I will wait for the A-OK from you before I go anywhere. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but
Okay, yeah, you resend that, and I'll have a look there in a second now, and then we'll continue with your clearance at that time.
okay, standing by, Empress 902. Thank you. Yeah, that was weird. I looked over and I had just typed it in, and when I clicked out and back in, it had my old flight plan from a couple days ago. Well, Al South, yes and no.
170 at 8 knots.
Sometimes you do have to ask permission to push if you're going to push onto an active taxiway, so it may be tough to see here, but like we're just pushing back onto the ramp here, and there's plenty of room for people to go. We can get pushed back here either way without actually being on this taxiway alpha. But there are some places where I don't know if this airport.
Welcome back, sir.
Yeah, well, no, this airport really doesn't have an example. But if you were to push back onto a taxiway, an active taxiway, you would have to get permission to do that. And then sometimes, depending on the ATC that they have, you will actually request push and start. But usually, unless it's an event like Friday Night Ops or something, there's not enough ATC to handle all that. Saw a recent doc of pilots, yeah, in the 727 DeBarrow. Yeah, those guys, they're bush pilots. They're bush pilots in essentially in a 737. It's pretty impressive, like you say. That's exactly right. Okay, well, I'm waiting for my clearance just to be confirmed. I'm going to go back and just work through the checklist. Obviously, I'm up for power pre-flight.
Golf Uniform Foxtrot, November. Fortunately, the
better not
this time for Halifax.
Better not assume anything here. Yaw damper is on. Fuel pumps are on.
170 at 8 knots, 15 statute miles.
I have to
700
sneeze.
overcast, 500, temperature 19, dew point 17. Altimeter 3010. The active runway is runway 23.
Hydro
and
pumps are
I see her,
on.
at this time,
Packs
VFR
are on.
traffic, sir.
APU bleed is on.
If so,
The ram door stays
pilot
open for
approach
me,
runway
and then
23.
it closes. I think I don't know how to close it. I haven't figured that out yet, but that's something I have in my notes here. But it didn't cause me any problems as far as being able to take off and all that good stuff. All right, my altitude, if I'm flying the Halifax 9, I'm going to have to be maintaining 5,000 feet.
No problem, sir. We can set you up with a visual approach runway.
Let's take a look. I'm still also getting my
vector towards the airport.
camera angles set up. So the Halifax 4 is runway heading
Negative, sir.
to 5,000 feet, and I'm going to be departing on a
Okay, Golf Uniform Foxtrot
143
November, sir, just
heading.
advise when you have a
So
visual on the once
let me
again,
get that
runway
spun around
23
here.
is approved.
143.
Sorry, runway 23 is the active. If you could approach it from a left base position.
So there's 140, 1, 2, 3. We are going to use the Halifax 115.1 Vortex to help us on the outbound. So we're going to tune in 115.10, and we will be trying to, hopefully, according to Sky Vector, be flying roughly 279er out to, that's Alex. So that's what we'll put in, 279er on our course. And again, you'll recognize a lot of this same type of navigation that we do in the GA aircraft. This plane can essentially be flown exactly the same way. Obviously there's a few other things that you have to consider, but yeah, 727 combi with the with the added glass panel upgrades. Yeah, and they say, I mean, 15 years, I think that's a minimum. I mean, I see those things sticking around kind of like the DC-3s. You put some modern avionics in those suckers, they're so dang tough, and they can get in and out of some fairly short fields. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're around for a lot longer. I'm wondering if Center maybe forgot about us. And Center Empress 902, I just was going to check and see if you got that revised flight plan. We do have to put in 3107.
Empress 902 on my end, getting the Suma 1, Suma LAX Hooper 1 flight plan there, so yeah, it's still showing that one.
Darn it.
Let me see if I can reset yours.
Here's maybe what I'll do. I'm going to go ahead and close my vPilot client. I'll log back in and resend it one more time for you if that's okay, 902.
That works for me, man. We'll be here. I'll be in a few minutes.
That sounds good. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, sometimes that happens. vPilot is nice, but it is code, and sometimes it doesn't play nice. So I do need to, while that's loading back up, let's see, 37. Okay, we're logging back in here. Empress 902. Flight plan looks correct. We'll file that, and hopefully, with any luck here. Okay, 3107 is what we need. Okay, and we're going to go ahead. We're on. This is a little bit funky, but I'm just going to turn it all the way on so they know where we're at. I'm also going to go mode Charlie here, and that way he can see me. We'll rock and roll. Here's the Siva. Really looking forward to messing around with this guy. Can't wait. Oh, here's our weather radar. Let's see. I think you're supposed to let it warm up for a minute. Let's go ahead and do that. Got a 180 degree. Yep, there she comes. Yeah, well, this will be a good day to test it out. I don't know if it integrates with my active sky just automatically, or there's probably a little bit of configuration I need to do. Where did I get the call sign from? I just Googled it. Anytime I'm flying a livery I'm not familiar with, I'll just Google call sign, and it gives you Wikipedia stuff basically. So you know, that kind of, it is what it is. And Center Empress 902, we're back with you, refiled. Just going to check on that clearance. We may just have to disconnect if this is not working.
Empress 902, Moncton Center. Let's have a look here. Okay, Empress, let's redo it all again.
Yes, I think that would be good.
Empress 902, you're cleared to the JFK Airport at the Halifax for departure. Your amended new flight plan route and a new squawk code for you, 3110.
All right, cleared to John F. Kennedy, Halifax for departure, fly amended route, and we will squawk 3110, Empress 902. There we go. All right, took us a while. Who would have thunk it?
Empress 902, feedback is correct. Push the start at your discretion. You can call me ready for taxi. The ATIS system is unfortunately not up at this time, but if required, I do have the local weather if you need.
Okay, we'll give you a call for taxi. Yeah, we've got the weather. We'll talk to you in just a few minutes. 902. All right, here we go. We're gonna push. Enough messing around. Ooh, I did not have my parking brake set the whole time. I'm lucky I didn't. Maybe I have been sneaking ever so slowly toward the terminal area there. But yeah, I got to get GSX configured not only for this plane but for the Tri-Jet, the L1011, and the DC-8. They all can work with GSX, and this is the main feature that I really want. Is I love the pushback. You know, all the rest of it's cool too, don't get me wrong, but the main thing I like is being able to know that I'm going to get pushed back to where I'm supposed to be, and that's right now with our nose facing north. Alright, that's pretty much where we need to be. Let's go ahead and set the parking brake. Let's go through our before taxi checklist. The nice thing about this plane, I will admit, is
080 Moncton Center. Good evening to you, sir.
It's a pretty similar
we'll have lower for you shortly.
Checklist flow as the 737-800. Obviously, the 737-800 has much more advanced avionics. Flaps are set. Transponder is TARA. Takeoff, controls. We'll check those controls. All right, those are looking good. Both sides there. Rudder's looking good. Elevator's looking good. The taxi lights will come on. And I do need to check my trim. Okay, I'm kind of in the green range. I don't really know. I don't have the specs pulled up. I don't have the charts pulled up or anything like that. And again, Captain Sim is sort of notoriously scant when it comes to performance charts. Looks like I'm getting a little bit of weather though. That's kind of cool.
Oh, the winds at 70, the north sun plate around 23, Golf uniform for something like that.
And Center Empress 902, we're ready for taxi. Looks like we'll need to request back taxi runway 14.
Number 902, actually the active runway is runway 23 this evening.
Okay, that works too.
It'll be apron at your discretion, Golf, Foxtrot, and hold short runway 23.
Alright, Golf Foxtrot will cross 14 and we'll hold short runway 23, Empress 902. Alright, well, that's good because that gives us a little extra room. That runway 14 is a 7,700 foot runway, and so sometimes it's a little bit tricky to get going. My brakes were locked on me here, so let's head around. We're gonna pick up, I think Golf is kind of right out in front of us here. There is some traffic I need to be careful about here. I think the other two planes already got out ahead of me though, so we should be okay. Yeah, I need some scenery, there's no doubt, and I keep telling myself that because I fly up here often, couple times a month probably. I just need to invest. There's a scenery package that covers a bunch of Canadian airports. I mean, like 30 airports. The problem is it's a spendy. It's like over $50, and I just haven't felt like pulling the trigger just quite yet. Wish the VATSIM comms were clear. Yeah, right now we've got a very good voice server. Speaking of voice servers, they're doing
Center.
one more.
Check your squawk code for me, sir. 3111 ident.
That's not me, right?
3111.
Blue nose.
And here comes the ident.
Anyway, they're doing one more test of the new voice server actually in the Boston area here coming up on, I think, Wednesday. So, and they say that might be the last test before they roll it out to the general public. So that's going to be pretty cool. Okay, before takeoff, we've got the we're going to turn the taxi light off. We're going to put the landing lights on. I tell you what, I like the lights. They really show up well. Okay, we're going to put our mode selector on heading. We don't need heading just yet. We'll wait to turn that on. This can be on manual. So this is what controls your flight director. It really doesn't have anything to do with, well, actually I shouldn't say that. I think it may help with altitude and things like that. But this is the actual autopilot. And so when we get going, we're going to engage the elevator and the aileron controls, and we're going to go into heading mode, and then we'll bounce back and forth between localizer and manual as we fly from point to point. So alright, I think we're good to go. At Moncton Center, Empress 902, we're holding short runway 23, ready for departure.
Empress 902, continue to hold short runway 23, sir, inbound landing traffic.
Continue holding short, Empress 902. And let's see if we can get a view of it here. It's kind of my best view of the incoming traffic. Oh, there we go. I see him. So yeah, Al, with any luck, after this coming Wednesday,
contact Moncton Center 124.
hopefully they'll be able to improve it all the way around. Let's take a view here and just kind of watch the traffic coming in. Can't tell what kind of a plane that is. Looks like a Baron or something. No, not a Baron. It's not a multi-engine plane. It's a bit high.
Golf Uniform Foxtrot November, welcome to Halifax, sir. When able, exit the runway to the right.
A little bit of a spine bumper there, but got her down okay. That's pretty cool. Like I said, look at those lights, man. The lights look really good.
902, position and hold runway 23.
Position and hold runway 23, Empress 902. Alright, we will do that. That's the U.S. equivalent of line up and wait.
Uniform Foxtrot November, welcome to Halifax, sir. Continue Delta, then apron at your, sir, and gate of your choice. Once again, welcome to Halifax.
I think taxi's very nice, very stable. Haven't seen the frame rate issues either of the L1011, but again, this is a default airport.
902 winds at Halifax 180 at 8 knots, cleared to take off runway 23. Call me through 1000.
Clear for takeoff runway 23. We'll give you a call through through 1000, Empress 902. All right, we're gonna just roll it here. Can't advance the throttle too much or you get a little warning. I think our rotation speed is right around 140, so that's what we're shooting for. Alright, airspeed is finally alive. Holy cow, it took a while. Thank goodness we went on the longer runway here. There's 100. 120, I'm going to call that V1. 140, we're going to say that's rotate. Let's see what happens here. Yep, there we go. Up and out. Bring the gear up. Actually, I should have reset my heading. Let's do that at this point in time, just in case we need to go into heading mode for whatever reason. Pull the power back slightly as we're already approaching 250 knots. Probably through the flap speed already. Don't want to get going too quick here. We want to get up to, again, 5,000 feet. And center Empress 902, climbing 1,700.
Empress 902, your radar identifies on departure. When able, turn right, direct Alex on course. Climb flight level 340.
When able, turn right, direct Alex on course, climb and maintain flight level 340, Empress 902. Alright, very good, very good. Whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? Oh, I don't have my, gotta have my heading button selected. We were drifting a little bit there, did you see that? Heading was set right there about 234, I think, and then we drifted to 210. Alright, so speed did come back down, but almost a little too low. Kind of like to keep things in about that 230 range if we could on the climb. So I'll nudge the power back up. Here's the part that's again, that's going to be fun to get used to. So we're going to turn generally on that outbound course there. You can see that we do have the outbound radial from Halifax tuned in, and so we will try, actually we'll go just, oh boy, don't do that one. 278, we're going to try to go past that just slightly and see if we can't get on that outbound. So the kind of the cool thing about this plane is once you engage the elevator and the aileron on the autopilot, then the V2 is, or excuse me, the vertical speed is pretty well set simply by you pulling the pitch back, pulling the yoke back and pushing it forward. So right now I have it set roughly at not quite 2,000 feet per minute. If I nudge it forward a little bit, it will hold whatever the pitch attitude you set it at. So that's about, you know, about 1,500 feet per minute, which isn't a bad climb rate. I want to get my speed up a little bit here, so I'm actually going to nudge it forward just a little bit more. Maybe down to about 1,000 so we can get that speed up more closer to 230, which, there we go. The throttle's at about 75% right now. Well, even a little bit more than that, so I don't have a lot more that I really want to have right now, but yeah, so far so good, guys. I mean, obviously we're in just heading mode right now, so it's not like it's earth-shattering, but there's the environmentally not very friendly aspect. But only one engine looks like it's running dirty right now. That's weird. I do have engine power on. Yeah, okay, both engines are running. Alright, well, okay, we're about 20 miles out now of Halifax. Speed is maybe just a skosh too fast now, so I'm going to just lightly pull back, increase our climb a little bit more than 2,000 feet per minute. Try to keep that speed managed. Really would like to do that with the climb as opposed to, you know, engine throttling it up and pulling it back, just because it takes a while for the engines to kind of spool up and get the power going. And you know, for being a relatively small airplane, it is pretty heavy, and I know those engines, you know, they've got plenty of power, but it just takes time to kind of get things rolling again. Oh, all right. So did I don't know if I did not. We're to shoot that to 340. Looks like our weather radar is picking up some stuff. I don't have any idea if it's really what's going on in front of us. We'll compare with the active sky here in just a minute. Alright, 340. Not quite yet picking up that outbound radial. Speed is doing good, and then now we're through 10,000, so we can go ahead, turn our landing lights off, make sure those are off. They were on ignition left, which is the continuous ignition that you put them on in the 737-800. But now we can, if we end up getting ourselves going a little bit over 250, we're okay. So I'm going to nudge the nose down slightly. We don't need to climb out at a crazy rate here. We've got all kinds of time. So maybe right there below 2,000 foot a minute. We'll see what happens to the speed here. There we go. We're starting to pick up that outbound radial, and we'll be on course. I'm looking here, and I am seeing this first leg is a pretty long leg, actually, 152 miles. So hopefully we will maintain that VOR that far. I mean, oh gosh darn, I keep spinning the wrong one here. All right, 278. Come around here. Let's see how close we can keep it. You know, as I understand radio navigation, the idea was that they would put the VORs in, you know, in places where you would never be without coverage, although I know that's not always the case. And I guess we'll find out. So we've went just a tiny bit past that radial, so I'm just going to spin it here to about 275, and we'll see if we can come back here and hit that outbound radial. So let's take a look at the active sky map, and let's see what my radar is picking up. I tell you what, I think so, guys. Everything a little bit kind of off to our, you know, right hand side off to the north, and that's sort of what I'm seeing down here. So that's pretty dang cool. I like that. It even has a little bit of red and orange up here, it looks like, so maybe a little bit more serious. Zoom in a little here. Track up. And I don't know if there's a little bit more intense weather right there or not, but yeah, that's a nice feature. Thanks, Captain Sim. Well done. Well done. Check against your magnetic compass. Yep, to make sure. So looks like we're heading out there just a little bit past I would say that's about a 175, and that's pretty well where we're going, although again we're slightly drifting north of course, right of course, however you want to say it. So I'm going to turn into this needle here a little bit to try to make sure that we are going where we're supposed to be going. Speed's getting a little bit low here, so I'm going to go ahead, even though we're only climbing at about 1,500 feet per minute, I'm going to go ahead and reduce it to 1,000 feet per minute, and I'm going to give it just a little more throttle. We have plenty of power still to go. I mean, we're not redlining anywhere here. You can set, by the way, the EPR, and I have no idea. Again, I don't have any of the charts or anything like that. You know, like the DC-8, I know I can be like, my max climb out is like 168 or 178 or something like that, but you can set that. So I'm looking forward to doing some research to figure out what those need to be. But so let's take a look around as we're climbing out here. We're pretty stable and kind of going in the general direction that we're supposed to be going, so I think we can look around just a little bit. Right after I answer a couple of text messages. Well, yeah, so Al South, I think you're hitting the nail on the head. It's wind, we're getting blown around a little bit. The current conditions for us, what are we passing through? 18,000. Ooh, speaking of that, let's set our Barrow to standard here, 29902.
Center, good evening. It's
winds at 18,000, 226 at 35. Yeah, so they're coming, they're hitting us from this left-hand side, and well, yeah, pushing us right, of course. So we are going to have to crab into it a little bit here, just to stay. And again, you don't have to be right on the money with this. I mean, the closer you can be, obviously, the better. But we're not super far off. But all right, let's take a look at around the cockpit and just see what Captain Sim has created here. We have panel lighting. We're probably going to need it a little bit here. It's on or off, it looks like. I'll leave it on. Background lights, same deal, on or off. And I'm not going to just be clicking buttons there. I did that yesterday and turned off the engines in the C-130 while I was storm chasing, but yeah, that's going to come in handy. Again, over here you have the weather. You can adjust the tilt angle, it looks like, and then all this stuff down here is for the FMC. This is your computer, your SIVA, and yeah, I can't wait. And down here, of course, your radio panel. You know, if you're curious about can you pick up the little Morse code thing? I think you can.
IFR conditions there currently at this time.
It doesn't look like that's coming in just yet, but
are you able to direct
2 radios and
Roger, we copy.
obviously the VOR navigation, and then you also have up here the ability to track,
we will take
an ADF if you so. Whoops, that's not that's the transponder. The ADF is, where's the ADF? Oh, I saw it. ADF, where'd you go? Oh, nope, that's a DME. Well, I know you can do an ADF. I was messing with it, actually, but for the life of me, I don't know where it's at. Turn the panel lights on here. Do a floodlight down here as well. And then again, a repeat of everything basically over on the
expect the INAV approach runway 23 for this
over on the first officer's side. There is a little bit of a funky switch I'll show you that you have to account for, and then they also have their own autopilot over here as well. I don't know if this thing will fully auto land or not, but kind of lends me to believe that maybe it has that capability. Okay, nudge the nose down again to about 1,000 feet per minute, and again it'll hold it there for the most part. Speed is only about 226 right now. I'd really like to get that up a little bit over 250. Go ahead and just again bump the throttles up a little bit. Don't have any idea the power settings. Like I say, this is just truly a test flight. Just get familiar with things. We're just about on that outbound radial, so I'm not gonna bring the heading all the way back because we're gonna have to crab into that wind just a little bit, but that'll be pretty good. We're 66 miles out on a 152 mile leg, so closing in on the halfway point there to our first waypoint, which is Alex. Alright, let's take a look at the overhead. A lot of the same familiar places and familiar faces. One thing I don't know the difference between is the wiper on park and the wiper on off. Alright, Al South, take care, man. We'll be here. Landing lights, runway lights, we've already messed with those. Fuel pumps are in the same area. Yeah, it looks like you have the control over some of the different navigational features. And then this is the yaw damper. Here is where the battery is. We probably should be on battery power, not standby power at this point in time. Although, and this should be Gen, because we are definitely going our APU down here, and again the same type of setup there. You get it going, and then you have the bus switches up here that you turn on, and then you are able to turn those off once the engines are going. Ground power switch is in the same spot. The circuit breakers, we have a little bit more control with those. That, if I understand correctly, kind of lights things up. Where does it light up? Oh, maybe those guys behind. I'll show you that panel here in just a little bit. And then these panel lights can come on. And they have control here. But this spins a little bit better, but still it looks like it's just on or off. So, but that's cool. Take that. Again, no smoking. We probably should have those on right now until we get up to climb. Speaking of that, let's check and see how we're doing. 240 through 2,700. We will, as soon as we get to 340, we flip this little switch over to alt hold, and that will level us off, and then we'll pick up our airspeed. Right now we're almost at Mach decimal 6. We want to be at that Mach decimal 7.8 range. Alright, window heats, pitot heat, those are all in the same spot. The hydro pumps are in the same spot. This is where you set the cabin altitude, the landing and departure altitude. Let me see if I can. Yeah, there we go. I got a camera angle set up there. You have all this stuff set up here. We've got our cabin altitude set for about 5,000 feet. I think that's going to be pretty good. And then we have position light, anti-collision light. We don't need these, but if we did, we have them here. And here's our engine start switches. But here's the switch that's in a little bit of a strange place. Behind the first officer, there's a master switch that you have to make sure is on. Now it comes, at least the first time I fired this thing up, it was on already. But what a place to have a very important switch. Okay, back to what we're doing here. That's pretty much it, guys. I tell you what, so it looks, other than the fact that we don't have the glass panels here and the FMCs down here, I mean, it's a very familiar layout, which is really, really nice. And so if you understand radio navigation, you can hop in and pretty well fly wherever you want to fly. even without the SEVA. Now the SEVA, I'm assuming, is going to be a lot like the INS that we have in the DC-8
Tanker
and
280,
the L1011, where
at
it
this time, sir,
takes
we
over,
have,
essentially
traffic
takes
at
over the
destination
heading
known as 080.
function and
He's,
flies
at your
automatically
10 o'clock
for
right
you
now,
from
approximately
waypoint to
4 miles,
waypoint, so you don't have to be switching frequencies like we're going to have to.
I am going to get you, sir, to. I'll give you
Speaking
your
of
IFR
which,
clearance
we're
shortly.
93
Just trying to
miles
get you
out.
based here now.
We
I'll get
have
you to turn on a heading
152
of
miles. Once we get to
050
Alex,
at the time, and I'll
we're
have your
actually going to
IFR
switch
clearance
over.
very
We're
shortly.
going to tune in Kennebunk, which is 117.1, and we are going to follow that on a 267 inbound. No, downwind. This is just my this is just the Beechcraft Duke 60 with a different livery. That's all it is. Hello, my friend. Happy holiday. If you're not in the United States, today is the end of a 3-day weekend. We call it Labor Day. It basically signals the end of summer, and a lot of us are fortunate, blessed really, to be able to take the day off, and I definitely took advantage of it. It's tradition to do something outside. A lot of people go camping, hiking, fishing. I know you were doing that downwind. Yep, just got back. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Tanker 280, ready to pick up your
So, yeah, here's what we've got going downwind. Remember I told you a while back
Tanker 280, you're
that
cleared to the Halifax
I picked up
Airport, sir, from your
2
current position.
airplanes in the Captain Sim
We get you the Squawk.
20th anniversary sale. I had the L1011, which I've been messing around with, but I also picked this guy up. This is the 737-200, and I was just looking for a time to break it out, and I thought, why not tonight? Moncton Monday, it's a great time to get out and fly a little bit, familiar route. So we're just doing a test flight, having some fun. I obviously the engines are going, but it was not a Control E situation. I did follow an actual procedure, got those going, but I have not in any way used the SEVA FMC. I'm just simply doing VOR navigation, and I'll actually show you where we're headed here in just a second. I'm doing something offline, as they would say. But it's been fun. It's a really fun airplane. Been really looking forward to learning more about it. All right, here's where we are, my man. Yep, Mrs. Leroy, she's aware of this. So we are just about, a lot of weather here. We're just about kind of in this area, inbound to, this is the Alex waypoint. We've just departed from Halifax. We're on our way down to JFK. We're going to make a slight left-hand turn to Kennebunk here in just a little bit, and then we're going to head south to Providence, and from Providence kind of zigzag our way on the Robert II arrival. With any luck, we'll have some good ATC along the way as well.
9 Papa Lima down to 5,000.
We're just about to our cruise altitude, so I'm going to hold off doing anything. I'm going to click this guy over to out hold once we hit 340. Didn't do a very good job with our speed. It's down there at about 214, but it should pick right up here in just a minute once we get leveled off. 340 is coming, and all right, all told, yeah. All right, so downwind, go get yourself, get the campfire smell off you, man, and grab yourself a snack and a beverage and come on back. It should be a fun flight down the East Coast. This Labor Day test flight should be tons of fun. See you in a little bit.
And Bruno 080, sir, you're clear the ILS approach runway 23. Clear the ILS approach runway 23, Bruno 080.
Once the third Canadian Express 2 called at 1, the flight level 1914, 10 pounds.
Canadian Express 222, Moncton Center, good evening to you, sir. Halifax is landing runway 23, current altimeter at Halifax 3009. The ADA system has been not observed, but I will tell you that the winds are 180 at 9, overcast at 500, temperature 19, 2.18, the altimeter is 3009. Once again, expect runway 23. You can continue your descent, turn now down to 5,000. And from your current position, are you able to direct U-tier for the ILS on way 23?
The Express 222 is able to direct U-tier.
Okay, 222, direct U-tier. Once again, descend 5,000.
Direct U-tier is 5,000, Canadian Express 222.
WestJet 3 Heavy, I do apologize for the delay there, sir. I'm not quite sure, kind of overworked here. Not quite sure if I'm going to get your oceanic clearance. I am still working on it. I still have you for about another 100 miles, so hopefully I'll get back to you, but please stand by. I do apologize for the delay.
130 miles.
Thank you.
And again, that first leg is 152, so we're getting close to where we need to make our turn. So I'm just kind of looking over on the other screen. The course heading for us will be 267, and again we'll tune in Kennebunk at 117.1. Did a pretty good job of staying on that outbound radial, and our speed has increased a little bit here. Now we're getting inching up to Mach 0.71. We'd like to be close to 0.78 by the time it's all said and done. And at some point in time, I'm going to sneak up and get myself a little snack myself.
Center, say your indicated airspeed.
The Express 222 indicated airspeed is 280 knots.
Maybe Express 222, could I get you to slow that, sir, to 220?
Roger, 226 knots for Express 222.
Tanker 280, descent to 3,000.
It's 3,000.
Wondering how many people are flying tonight down there in the Miami area. I see they have 8 air traffic going, and I'm guessing that there's going to be plenty of intense weather. We did have Al South MIA check in, South Miami guy check in, and he's doing okay so far. He said he had to step out. That does make me a little nervous because you hope he's not stepping out to figure out what just crashed against his roof or something. But prayers with you, man.
Bruno 080, contact Halifax Tower now, 118.
He'll see you through regardless. Okay, 8 miles to go.
Thanks for the details.
This plane does turn fairly well, so it's not something, you know, like with the DC-8 or with the L1011, man, you really have to kind of lead him, give it 4 or 5 miles. This one you can pretty well turn right about where you need to turn.
Lufthansa
So
4019 Heavy, your oceanic clearance request is number 2, sir. Still trying to get to another pilot there as the workload, once they clear out some traffic here, hopefully I'll be back to you.
Roger that. Oh, by the way, also you have a UPS.
alright, we're just about 150, and again, like I said, 152 was our magic number. So we're going to get ourselves turned here in just a sec. In fact, I think we'll go ahead and do that right now. 267 is where we're heading here. So not much of a turn for us, of course. 267. And we don't need to
4,000 and say indicated airspeed.
worry too much because we're going to be tracking inbound here. 117.1 Kennebuck.
9 Papa Lima is
See
showing
if
150.
it pops in. Yes, it does. Alright, so we're ready to go to VOR.
Tanker 280.
Localizer mode.
Airspeed.
It's going to make a little bit of an adjustment here.
Tanker 280 is
We're fairly close to being on the mark, so it shouldn't be one of those big time S-turny type of things.
Unfortunately, sir, I am going to have to put you in a 2-minute turn here for spacing. Let's do it to the left, so 1360 to the left for speed.
9 Papa Lima is going to go by some battery numbers because we're doing a 360 to the left for stage.
Tanker 280 from current position now via Deuce here. You're cleared for the ILS approach runway 23.
Cleared ILS 23, thanks 280.
Look like the slats are down a little bit, or is that just me? Maybe that's just what it looks like. Or do I not have... Oh, jeez. Holy guacamole. I still had flaps 1. I thought I had put flaps up. That's going to help a little bit, I think. Yeah, that looks better. Holy cow.
If you could do,
and so, no wonder I had to work so hard for airspeed.
190.
Even at that, we were able to get ourselves up to Mach 0.8. So I'm pulling back slightly on the throttle. I'm sure that the fuel usage component of this plane will be happy about that. And speaking of, we're at cruise, so let's look at anything else we need to do here at this point in time. Also, we would put we should have done this actually a little while ago. That is a sign now for the cabin crew to start serving all their food and beverages. Everything else looks good.
Good evening, Lieutenant. We're back with you after Mr. Approach.
Just need to make sure that we maintain. Yeah, we're doing pretty good right there. It
Juno
should be
080 continues
just right,
flight
and without
70,
having
climbing
flaps
maintain
down,
3 south, and
we
we'll
have
turn
much
for you to
happier
get back
engines.
around again.
Down below
Break
80%.
9 Papa Lima. Unfortunately, sir, I'm going to have to ask you to do one more left turn to the left for me. Oh, sorry, a 360 turn to the left for spacing.
Another professionally done turn by 9 Papa Lima to the left.
And center, Empress 902. I apologize if I missed a handoff there, but I just was going to check in and see how close we were getting to Boston airspace. Actually, I need to use the little captain's room.
Empress 902, I had the request sent to Boston Center for the handover. Unfortunately, they did not get back to me. But yes, indeed, you are in Boston airspace at this time. Contact then 134.7. Have a great flight to JFK, sir. See you.
Okay, 3470 for Empress 902. Have a great night. God bless. 3470.
Canadian Express.
Before we check in, I am going to see a man about a horse. I'll be right back.
I'm going to maintain 16,000 for American 23.
Boston Center, good evening. American 1170, crossing flight level 9,500 for 14,000.
American 11, Boston Center, hello, climb and maintain flight level 340.
Climb and maintain 340 for American 1170.
Boston Center, Cessna 6026 Zulu with you 4,000.
Cessna 6026 Zulu, Boston Center. Expect the ILS runway 17 approach at Manchester. The Manchester altimeter is 2993.
Expect ILS 17 and 2993. Cessna 26 Zulu.
Cessna 26 Zulu, turn right heading 010, vector maintain 4,000.
Right to 010, maintain 4,000, Cessna 26 Zulu.
Boston November 8, Charlie Alpha, traffic 11,500 for level 220 South Echo November Echo.
November 87 Lima Alpha, radar contact, thanks. Empress 902, Boston. American 4506, cross, crank, how to maintain 7,000. The New York altimeter is 2996. Crank to 7,000, 2996, American 4506.
Boston Southwest 521, looking probably 3 minutes off the frequency, and I'll call you when I'm back for you.
Southwest 551 approved.
All right, I am back, snacks in hand and ready to check in to Boston. I need to figure out where I'm at. 118 miles northeast
Southwest 236, do you copy?
of Kennebec.
November 7th, 15 November Express, crossing Birdie at 4,000 feet, proceeding direct to Tempe.
Boston Center, good evening. Empress 902, flight level 340, 115 miles northeast of Kennebunk.
To Boston Center, good evening. Clear our tree.
Sorry, say again for 902.
Empress 902, clear direct trait. It's on the Robur arrival into Kennedy.
Clear direct crate, Empress 902. I'm going to have to be looking for that here. Trait.
Empress 2, actually, see your split key there. If you're not able to do that and you'd like to just continue as file, that is perfectly fine with me.
Let me take a look at it. You threw us for a little bit of a loop here. I will get right back to you, Empress 902. So let's find trait. I was not familiar with that. Let's see what it says.
November 26 Zulu.
Robur
heading 340.
2. Or Robert 2. So we're coming into Kennebunk, which is basically the transition into the arrival.
And November 26 Zulu. It's going to maintain 2,000. Actually, it's going to maintain 3,000.
Trait? I don't even see trait.
A little mixed up here.
No problem. Out of 4 for 3,000.
It must be a different arrival that he's looking at. So I think we're just going to stay. Oh, there's trait. So for us to do that, we would have to
let's see, it's going to maintain
have to tune in Providence. We'd have to hit direct Providence,
for now. See,
and then we could go from Providence down. We're out here somewhere, inbound Kennebunk. Let's see. The first thing is, can we pick up 115.6? So let's see if that's even possible. Come over here. 115.6. If we can tune in Providence, then we can do this. And
Shipper 420 Manchester, runway 1.
we can, so I think we can go ahead. We could do clear direct trait. All right, we'll call in and say. And Boston Center, Empress 902, we can indeed do direct trait.
Empress 902, roger, thanks.
All right, so we're going to tune in. So again, just so you get a feel for what I'm attempting here. We're up here. We're not quite to Kennebunk just yet, but we're going to tune in Providence. We're going to go direct Providence and then pick up the 232 outbound to trait. And we need to be at, we'll be expecting 240 there, but we'll wait for clearance from ATC, obviously.
November 26 Zulu.
So 115.6.
2,500.
Always good to be tested, I'm telling you. Well, I should have probably went into heading mode here before I did that. Let's go,
5872, Syracuse altimeter is 3001.
Go back here, go heading mode.
Again, expect the visual approach to runway 28.
Yep, down. Now we're heading selected. So, what is our heading? We're going to figure out what the...
3001.
Thought it... About 230, kind of in that range. Okay, so let's turn and get fairly close to that before we engage. One thing I have noticed is if you engage the VOR mode when you're a long way off, it does do that kind of S-turn.
Southwest 236, turn right, heading
Type of deal
045.
here.
045, please maintain
All right.
2,500.
Coming around. Actually, I think we can go ahead. We'll go back to our VOR. That should pick it up pretty well. So, all right, 176 miles away from Providence, and then after Providence, 232, which is essentially just the same exact. We're basically direct trait right now. We'll just slice right through Providence in 170 miles, and life will be good. do have a wing view here. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, about 7 Southwest 541 back with you.
Southwest 551, roger, welcome back. Daniel Express 219, leaving airspace, radar service terminated, frequency change approved, good day.
Frequency change approved, System 19, thank you for service, have a nice evening, sir.
Delta 326, looks like you're going to accelerated simulation speed there, so.
Center Jipper 420, we vacated runway 7, we're taxiing to the parking.
Jet 420, taxi to the ramp, have a nice day.
Taxi to the ramp, good luck tonight.
Thanks, it's been quite a night. And 26 Zulu, number 26 Zulu, turn right heading 2190, sorry, number 26 Zulu, turn left heading 190, intercept the localizer, sorry for the late turn there.
It's okay, less than 1930, 26 Zulu.
And 260, if you need to, heading 150 to intercept.
That should work, that's 26 Zulu.
Cessna 260, thanks for the help here. Your 4 miles from Balloon, maintain 2,500 until established on the localizer, clear your ILS, runway 16 approach.
Maintain 2,500 till established for the ILS 17 approach. Manchester, Cessna 260.
American 4506, contact New York Center 125.32, good night.
15.82, good night, American 45.
Energy control, we're holding at 1,000 foot.
Today, Express 621, Boston Center, climb and maintain, flight level 350. Actually, you can express 621 in altitude, maintain flight level 210, and I'll have higher for you momentarily to get your passenger track.
No problem.
Red 2387 with you, Palm Beach 4000 for 14. Yeah.
United 2387, Boston Center, climb and maintain, flight level 360.
I'm up 360, United 2387.
Brickyard 5872, let's see, looks like you're almost on the localizer there. I can spin you for descent if that would help.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. I think just one spin and I should be able to go out.
Brickyard 5872, turn right heading 040 and descend and maintain 4,000. 040 and 4,000 vectors for descent and for the visual approach. It's really hard to see, there's like 8 planes in the same area.
Yeah, I got you. 040 and 4,000.
Number 6026 Zulu, wind to Manchester 190 at 4, runway 17, clear to land.
Clear runway 17, that's 26 Zulu.
Okay, Express 621, climb and maintain flight level 330.
Okay, 330 for Victor 1.
Southwest 2381, leaving the airspace shortly. Radar service terminated. Frequency change approved. Good day.
Over Unicom for Southwest 2381. Thanks for your help. Have a good day.
No problem. Break Brickyard 5872. Turn right heading 130.
130.
American 2203, cross crank, and then maintain 7,000. The newer call altimeter 2996.
7,000 by Georgia.
Thank you. Brickyard 5872, Brickyard 5872, turn right heading 190. And 5872, descend and maintain 3,000.
2,000.
About center, November 8, 7,
November 87, Lima Alpha, Roger, descend and maintain 1000, Boston altimeter 2995.
1000 and 2995 on the altimeter 7 Alpha.
November 723, November, crossing 10 pi at 4,000 feet, heading direct to Lucille. Could we descend to 2,000 feet, 723 November?
November 733, North Quebec, you're already cleared for the approach, so I'm not sure, there's not a whole lot else I can do for you at the moment. You're already cleared for the approach.
Roger.
Brickyard 2,
Brickyard 5872, say again? Brickyard 5872, alright, that works clear to approach runway 28.
Visual 2, Brickyard 5872.
That was a 1999 radar service frequency change approved. Thanks for flying. Catch you later.
22-8, thanks, great job. We'll see you next time, Delta 199.
November 733, November, come back. No traffic observed. I actually do have traffic. It's going to be paralleling you. It's going to be a Boeing 737, same direction. Just off the left wing there at 2,500. He's on final for runway 23 at Providence. No traffic between you and the North Central State Airport. Report cancellation of IFR, Mr. Broach, on this frequency and change to advisory frequency is approved.
Roger, cancel IFR on this frequency on this, and this works on this frequency, change to advisory frequency approved. Traffic is noted.
Thank you, and Canadian Express 621, climb and maintain flight level 3.
250 for Express 621.
Southwest 551, leaving the airspace shortly. Radar service terminated. Frequency change approved. Have a good night.
Southwest 521 switching, thanks for the help. Have a good night.
just sort of letting you enjoy the ATC here in the Boston area while I munch on my dinner before we have to start our
Number 7 Lima
descent.
Alpha, descend and maintain 8,000.
3,000, 7 Lima Alpha.
Bridge 872 behind you.
Aircraft 5872, runway 28, clear to land, wind 290 at 5.
28 clear to land, bridge 872.
And number 602, 6 Zulu, welcome to Manchester, and where are you parking today?
We'll park at the main terminal.
Alright, taxi to the terminal via Alpha Delta Golf, good day.
Alpha Delta and Golf to the terminal, Cessna 26 Zulu, thanks.
You know, the dirt, that's just that kind of outdoor seasoning that you need. Helps you remember the good times. Iced tea and salad, that's a good start. I'm having chimichangas. I got one more bite left here. Homemade chimichangas from Mrs. First Officer there. That's how we do it here on the channel. Yeah. So we found this recipe where you can cook them in the air fryer, which makes them actually not too bad, all in all. Oh, I've got a little fuel emergency here. It's not really. Here's all it is. My center fuel tanks are out of fuel, so we'll turn those guys off. So anyway, yeah, you load them up with chicken, a little bit of shredded cheese, and you put some olive oil on a flour tortilla on the outside. You roll it up, you know, chimichanga style, and you can either put them in the air fryer at 400 for 4 minutes a side, or my wife just put them in all together in the oven at 400 for 8 minutes a side, and they crisp up nice. I mean, it's not the same as deep fat frying it, but probably a little bit better for the a little bit better for my overall health. Throw a couple of dollops of refried beans and a little bit of salsa, and you got yourself a pretty good meal. Well, when you come up here to 4-wheel, we'll make sure that that's what we make. So as soon as I gave ATC props, of course then it goes radio silence here, but they've just had a kind of a mad rush there, and even though Boston Logan has pretty good ATC, they've got approach and tower online. Center's covering everything else, and as you could hear, there was quite a bit of action there. Real nice job by Boston Center getting everybody where they needed to go, and so, and with kind of on cue, we've got New York Center that's come online. That's awesome. And looking forward to having basically gate-to-gate coverage tonight on a Monday night. That's pretty cool. Places, all right, you place your order, so I'll have to send it to you Kansas City steak style in one of those igloos, flash frozen or whatever.
75.32 for American.
It'll be to you in 7 to 10 business days.
November 87 Lima Alpha, contact Boston approach 133.0. Actually, stand by industry with the, sorry, he hasn't taken your hand up yet.
So downwind, you've got to get your floats on your Beaver, because this Wednesday I'm heading back to the Pacific Northwest and I'm going to tour some seaplane bases. So I don't know what you have available from the xplane.org store, but if you could get any scenery kind of in the Vancouver area, if you look at, and I'll show you here. See if I can find it. So on the Orbic store, under the free tab, here are some things that I have downloaded. Vashon and Westwind airports, that's kind of up there in the Washington area, but where I'm going to be going is up here in Vancouver. Nanaimo and Campbell River, Pender Harbor, and Ganges. I think there's one more. Maybe not. Yeah, Refuge Cove. We're going to tour these seaplane bases, and so I don't know if there's anything, like I say, on the X-Plane
just waiting for Boston approach to take your hands off here.
website or whatever, but be worth checking out. That's where I'm going to be on Wednesday. So where is that at exactly? Well, let me show you.
Canadian Express 610 Boston Center. Hello.
We've got 60 miles to Providence, so we got a little bit of time. So here we are, East Coast. If we travel over to the West Coast, we'll probably depart from our Holcomb area, Bowerman area. We'll fly up the coast, or we'll try to pick our way through the mountains here. And all these airports are just kind of tucked up in this little area here. Surely this inlet has a name, doesn't it?
902, level 240.
Cross at flight level 240, Empress 902.
Canadian Express 610, climb and maintain
Boundary Bay, I don't think that's the name of the whole entire waterway here, but it's like the old FS, boy, what would it be? FS 9 maybe? One of these is that old Friday Harbor up here. You might recognize that. But anyway, that's where I'm going to be. So love to have you along for that, as always, as we tend to have quite a bit of fun whenever we break out those bush planes. All right, I got to get busy here. We have to cross trade at 240. So we're going to spin that down, and we're going to use the pitch control function of this bird. We're going to take it off of altitude hold mode, but we're going to leave both the aileron and elevator controls engaged, and we're just going to nose down ever so slightly here and try to descend. That's maybe a little steep, but we'll go with it for now. There is no auto throttle in VNAV, so we're going to pull back on the power just so we can try to keep it in that decimal 79 range. We'll just have to make slight adjustments as we go. But yeah, let me show you. For those of you tuning in late, kind of what we're looking at here. This is the Robber 2 arrival. Okay, I've got that loaded up, and we're actually right now direct Providence. We're going to pass over Providence, and we need to be at 240, 34 miles southwest of Providence. So that's what we're shooting for right now. Probably better to be a little early on that, so I am going to pull back. We don't need quite 2,000 feet per minute. That's a pretty slick vertical speed function if you think about it. I mean, you're just essentially using the flight yoke, and I know I have my flight yoke turned off, but I would turn it back on, but I don't really know how. Probably a click
2387,
spot
sorry,
here
24 on 380.
somewhere. Yeah, I don't. Oh, there we go. All right, so here's what I'm talking about. So if I want to descend a little bit more steeply, I just push the yoke forward slightly, and that bumps me down a little bit.
708 Papa Victor with you 12000 direct lobster.
If I feel like I'm a little too steep,
November
I pull
70
back
Papa
slightly,
Victor, Boston Center, climb in, 250.
raise the nose up,
50
and then with both of these, with
November,
the
sorry, United 23.
aileron and elevators both engaged,
380.
that autopilot just holds that pitch right there, so kind of cool. All right, slowing down just a little bit too much here. I don't have to get too crazy. We keep it, you know, above 250 anyway. I might be able to just leave the yoke on. I don't know that there's anything necessarily that I need to access down there. Kind of have my lights turned on. We'll leave it on for now. We'll just kind of see what it looks like as we come in. I don't have any kind of a descent checklist. I pretty much built this checklist based off of my old 737-800 checklist from PMDG, but basically what I would be doing here is going through my flight plan and checking my arrival to make sure that I have all the altitudes and speed restrictions entered in. Be checking the weather to make sure that I could anticipate where I'm going to be landing. I don't have to do that though in this case because I do have an ATIS, and it is information Bravo. Here's what it says. Winds 190 at 10. We have 10 statute miles of visibility. Few clouds at 11,000. Few at 3,000. It's broken at 7,000. Broken at 250. Altimeter 299.7. We're going to use the ILS approach 22 left. They're departing on 22 right. So that's good information for us to know. Make a little note to myself here. ILS 22 left. The other things that I would be doing right now would be, again, setting up my VREF, which I am, again, I don't have any kind of charts or anything like that, so I'm going to say ref speed here. See if I can get this guy to turn. Yep, there we go. I'm gonna say around 130 will be the ref speed. We'll see. Complete guesstimate here, but it ought to be in the neighborhood. And 22 left, it's plenty long. If we're a little quick, we can flare it down there quite a ways before we get nervous. 1,000 to go. We will pop the altitude hold back in. We're actually going to get there before we get to Providence, so that was maybe a little too aggressive a descent, as my friend Downwood Sim would say, but every once in a while I just forget I'm not in the DHC2 Beaver. I'm not on some stole approach to a sandbar. 200 to go. An altitude restriction like that, though, again, it's better to be a little early than a little late. So I don't mind leveling out. I know the professional pilots, they would have this all calculated out where they could just descend nice and steady all the way down. You'd never know. I'm not quite there yet. Okay, 6 miles to go. Something I am going to do. Oh, I do. So, alright. I am going to close this because I do need to have access to my heading. And I am going to go to heading mode just because it will, oh, get it, okay, it will spin you around the VOR if you are not careful, and you'll just fly circles. So we'll stay on course here. We will momentarily lose our VOR, and this needle's going to go wacko because we're going to be flying basically directly over, but as soon as we're on our outbound, then it should come back in just fine. Again, the idea here is that we're going to be continuing on a 232 outbound. So let's go ahead, we'll just, as a reference point, we will spin that to 232. We will spin our heading over there and try to match it. I do realize we're going to have to account for wind, so we may not be right on the money, but that should get us in the neighborhood. So we've just crossed Providence right there, and we're going to be going 232 to Trait. So in 34 miles we need to be at 240, which is where we're at right now. We're level at 240. After that, we're going to be continuing on that 323 down through Parch, and then we'll turn right and we'll head towards Calverton. There's a chance, I suppose. Hell no, I don't think we actually go down there. We just use that as a little bit of a reference if we need it, but we won't.
Maintain 4,000 and expect final 250.
You could, for Parch, you could tune in Hampton or Sea Point actually to get a little cross reference there. Alright, yep, so you can see we're slightly left of course, so we'll nudge it back about 240 and try to get on that outbound radial a little bit better.
Okay, Express 621, Moncton Center is closed, radar service terminated, frequency change approved.
34 miles out we'll be at Trait.
We'll be to come Hurricane for 621.
We will be looking for our next altitude restriction, which is 12,000 at
708 Papa Victor. Reset
Calverton.
transponder, please call 4662. Reset transponder 42 in the box. 85.
Okay, we've not been cleared to descend via the arrival. So we're not going to continue down. I've made that mistake in the past and try to stay at 240 until we're given further descent clearance, or until I hear that we are indeed cleared to descend via the arrival. Oh boy. Look at our airspeed, 190. Yeah, that's a little too slow. We're gonna pick that back up, about 230. pitching up like a big dog, which is what those 737s do when you get slow like that. I mean, you can see that nose comes up. As the speed increases, that nose will come back down. It'll maintain a little better aerodynamic profile here. Actually, I'm going to try to get myself back up to at least 250. There we go, coming up nicely. Alright. Looks like we maybe shot just a little through that outbound radial, so we'll go ahead and slide to the left. Wind right now is let's see it, 254 at 43, so fairly significant, and just slightly off of our right hand nose here, 254. So hopefully it'll be pushing us back on track here.
Press 902 cross Calverton, Charlie, out of maintain 12,000 and 250 knots. The Kennedy altimeter 29907.
We'll cross Calverton at or maintain 12,000 and 250 knots, Empress 902. Alright, so I will crab into the wind just a little bit to stay on that course. We've got another about 13 miles to Trait. Been cleared down to 12,000. Well, I need some better, that's not a terrible, I guess, terrible camera angle. So we're going to cross. I want to wait for my descent until I have crossed Trait, which is here in about 10 miles, and then we'll go ahead and start our descent.
Brickyard 5933, runway 23, correction, runway 28.
As is typical for me,
Cross runway 33.
I've greatly overcompensated for a slow airspeed. How about we get something back down there around, I mean, I'm still Mach 0.72, so not terrible, but I don't need to be going 315 knots right now. Not in that big of a hurry. Alright. Kennedy altimeter, by the way, we said was 29907. We're going to have to set that here in just a little bit. Slowly inching back the throttles. Again, there's that delayed reaction that we talked about at the beginning, about how it takes a while for things to kind of spool up, and once it gets going, though, it really gets going. Okay, I think it's time to turn 265. Spin ourselves over that direction here. We can tune in Calverton as well as we're doing that. Oh, hold the phone, Central. We're not quite ready for that. Hang on, hang on, hang on. I was a little bit premature in that turn. My apologies, folks. Sorry, passengers. I still have to go another 14 miles to Parch, and then I make the turn, but I can, once I get leveled out, I will start the descent. So it's a little bit of a U-turn there. We'll say we vectored for weather. Alright, leveled out, and let's go ahead and drop the nose here slightly. Again, you know, somewhere in that 1,500 range I think is going to be okay. which is about where we're at. Whoops. Yeah, I don't need to get crazy with things. Speed looks good now. We're 260. Obviously, we're going to be picking up a little bit of speed because of the descent, so I'm going to pull back on the throttles slightly. We have, let's see, 14 miles and then another 32 to Calverton, so, you know, 46 miles. We're just about where we need to turn. 34 and 14 is 48, so as soon as we get probably about 46 miles, we will make that. This is what I'm talking about here. Got this extra 14 miles, and we make the turn towards Calverton. That was the one I was a little bit early on.
2387, radar service terminated.
There's 46.
Good night.
Now we'll go 265.
Have a great night, Nerd 2387.
And we'll bring the course around also, just so we know where we're heading. And we'll tune in Calverton, which is 117.2. And it's our next VOR, so let's get that tuned in. And alright, not too bad. We can go ahead and toss the localizer on here. Again, we're maybe just about done with that, honestly, because I don't know if we will receive any vectors, or depending on, again, we're landing south into JFK, kind of from up here to left. So there's a possibility, I guess, we could get to Calverton and get a little bit of a vector and then direct down, or if we fly the entire arrival, we'll go down here to Robber, we'll turn towards Kennedy, then we'll get vectored kind of on the downwind up here, base to final. The nice thing is we don't have to guess, because we do have air traffic. Thank you, Kennedy Air Traffic, for jumping online. That's awesome.
Empress 902, contact New York, New York Center, 125.32.
Alright, 2532 for Empress 902. Catch you next time. Okay. 2532. See if I can get the check-in done correctly.
12702, crossing climb 25020.
Very so I'm working on your handoff now, and you can have it, you'll have that with Boston break.
7.
That's 393 fly limit heading in
Just about to that transition altitude, so there's the Kennedy altimeter.
Right, clear for takeoff.
20 miles to get ourselves down to 12,000 feet. We should be in good shape.
Control City, contact Boston Center, 134.7. I'll have higher for you. Have a good night.
Boy, I couldn't understand a single thing that guy said. That's good luck. Alright, speeds touch high here, not bad though, 289. I'd like to get it a little bit more to that 250 level. I do need to check in with New York Center here at some point, but I don't want to step on these two guys that have checked in.
1040 New York Center, good evening, squawk 6664.
He's coming in off the ocean there. I wonder where he came from. Oh, he came all the way up from Aruba. Very nice. Heading to Newark. New York Center, good evening. Empress 902. We're descending through 16,000, about 13 miles inbound Calverton. Oh, and I forgot to tell him we had the weather, and I forgot to tell him.
902, New York Center, good evening. Expect vectors to left approach. Kennedy altimeter 2997. Information, Charlie current.
Expect the vectors ILS 22 left, and we have Charlie, Empress 902. That's a bad check-in on my part. I should have told him I was on the Robert 2 with Charlie.
11 miles north of the Yale intersection, level 330.
Alright.
Descend across Owens and maintain 10,000. He
Panicked a little bit there, I don't know why. Okay, 10 miles to Calverton.
Owens,
We will need to stay on the arrival though until we're told differently, but I'm thinking again we might be sent or told to continue west here so that we could just come make a left-hand turn and intercept 22 left arrival.
That'll probably work.
Have just a,
Alaska 393, you're in contact altitude.
if we don't though, I do need to get ready 229er.
Alaska 393, louder, turn off heading 060,
So
maintain.
I'm going to set that just in case.
Alaska 393, turn off heading 060,
Be right there, 229er, and we're going to hit that 12,000. Pretty darn close to right on the money. We've got a 5.5 DME to get down another 1,500 feet. Let me nudge the nose down just slightly. We're supposed to be at or maintain 12,000.
3 Bravo Charlie.
Empress 902 is going to maintain 9,000.
9,000, Empress 902. Okay. Alright. On our way down, and we definitely have to get down below 250 now, so hopefully we get a call here quickly because we need to make that turn. Yep, it's already starting to make the turn for us. Okay, well, we haven't been told otherwise, so I'm going to go ahead.
973, Bravo Charlie, near center, go ahead.
Go ahead and make the turn. This is an 18-mile stretch. 229er. Spin that around.
At the Atlantic Aviation, looking to take off.
See how close we are to that outbound radial. Already the DME is counting up for us. And then if we don't hear any different, we're here.
Number 3, Bravo Charlie, clear up the
We're going to turn 276 direct Kennedy.
Maintain VFR 3,500, squawk 0601.
And then we can kind of brief the approach a little bit into 22 left, but until we get that, I'm going to just continue to fly the
973 Bravo Charlie, cleared into the field crash cover area. Should be cleared through it, squawk 0601.
Into the Bravo, arrow below 3,500 and squawking 0601. 3 Charlie.
Alright, kind of see the familiar features here of the New York area. Kind of a cool little livery.
Number 73 Bravo Charlie, we're back correct. Push to start at your discretion. Runway 35 at Kilo for departure. Advisor ready to taxi. Altimeter 299er.
Do have a little bit of a low cloud layer here.
2970 Air Center, welcome.
3,000, few at 3,000, broken at 7,000, so that's kind of what we're...
Alaska 393, contact Washington,
I go
134.7.
through my, oh man, I went through my altitude here. Hold, oh boy.
Empress 902, depart Rover head 300, descend and maintain 7,000.
We'll depart Rover 300 down to 7,000, Empress 902. Alright, so we actually got lucky there because we blew right through that altitude restriction, so not good. So we're getting to 18 miles is where we hit Rover, so we're going to make a right-hand turn to 300. Hey, Nick's Aviation checking in. Love the call sign. Yeah, I had no idea this airplane really even existed about 2 days ago.
I didn't get the initial 666.
But apparently it's fairly well known because everybody, obviously up in the Halifax area, but all the way through Boston and now down to New York, they all sound pretty familiar with it. Alright, again, here we are, getting close. We're going to get to Rober, and that's 18. Glad I didn't call it Robber. That would be with 2 B's, right? So when we get to 18, we're going to hang a right, 300. We are going to level off this time, not blow through this altitude. Speed's looking better now, about 220. I like that. Coming up on 7,000. A lot to manage, as you might expect in an older aircraft like this. But that's what makes it fun. Alright, there's 7,000. Altitude hold. That looks good. We're going to go ahead and we're going to make our right-hand turn to 300. And we're going to call this vectors to final. And so with that, we are going to dial up 22 left.
First line up to center maintain 4,000.
Descend and maintain 4,000, Empress 902. Boy, I tell you what, downwind, this is where I need my Oculus Rift. Doing all these click spots, man, it's tricky. Alright, so we're just going to keep going down about 1,000. And, alright, I was about to look at the 22 left approach here. 110.9er, we'll tune that in. 224, we'll enter that. If we miss, we're going to climb to 500, then we're going to make a left-hand turn to 3,000 and hold out here at that Chant intersection. It's 19 DME away. Alright, 110.9er. That's in. 224. Yep, we don't have anything just yet here, but 224. That we almost were on that. Okay. I need to get myself descending a little bit more dramatically to get down to 4,000. Speed's looking good. Keep it around probably 210 here. Again, Nix, we've flown all the way down here in the 737-200. It's been kind of a test flight for us today, and I've enjoyed the heck out of it. It's an awesome plane. I can tell I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. Haven't messed at all with the SIVA FMC. It's been doing nothing but VOR navigation all the way down. Just pure slant whiskey stuff all the way down.
Center, Premier 30, short of Bravo, ready taxi.
Oh, now I got a little bit of a sim pause. Phew, okay, that made me nervous.
Premier 1830 X-ray, runway 19er, taxi via Bravo, Mike, cross runway 14.
On our way down through 5,000, 1,000 to go here in just a minute. Sorry if you're chatting with me here. I'm going to have to get back to you here in just a second. I've got all 4 eyes working the gauges. Liking the speed, maybe a hair fast, but once we level off, that's gonna come down. If we could be like in that 210 to 190 range, I think that'd be pretty good. You get much slower than that, then you start to pitch up again, and the problem with that is then you can't see over the top of the dash. So want to keep the speed up at least somewhat here. Okay, almost there. Alright, there's 4,000. We'll click it into alt hold mode. We'll watch our speed and see what happens. Might just bump in a little bit of power just in anticipation.
American 2203. Pushes in this direction, coverage taxi.
Tell you what.
Call for taxi for American 2203.
Should be getting our vector here to head north at any time. I'm going to put this in Kennedy 1590. I'm going to put this in on the other side just so I get a feel for where we're at. I don't care about the heading at all. I just want to know. Oh, we're still 20 miles away, so we're good. So that's matching up what you would expect, because that's a runway at Kennedy. So just double checking and making sure. So I would guess somewhere around 10 miles away we'll get that vector
runway 19 clear for takeoff.
out here somewhere like about the 050 range.
19 clear for takeoff.
Okay, speed's looking good. I don't want it to get any slower than 3,000. Empress 902. Alright. Wonder the history behind this call sign, though. I mean, it's unique. Oh, there's another little bit of a sim pause. I'm hoping that's just because my airport's loading in. Alright, we're back. Oh boy, there's another pause. This is not good, folks. Don't like this. We do have plenty of weather in the area, and I'm sure that's kind of taxing
Here,
system, as it were.
433 IFR to Miami with Charlie ready to copy.
So like 6433.
I'm just looking around here.
Miami Airport, Kennedy 5 departure. Your vector is wavy, then is filed. Maintain 5,000. Expect level 3801 Dumas after departure. Departure is this frequency, squawk 625.
So 6433 clear to Miami, JFK departure wavy on 5,000, 380 and 10. Departures with you, squawk 6625.
Downwind sim saying tricky if you can't look around fast enough. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Okay, get close to 3,000. We're going to throw on the alt hold again.
We'll call connect to 22 right, 6433.
Empress 902, 8 miles from Zalpo, turn off heading 250. Maintain 2,000 until established. Clear ILS running 22 left.
Left turn 250 will maintain 3,000 until established. Cleared for the 22 left approach, Empress 902. Alright, good deal.
We're running 3 X-ray is ready to contact.
Okay, 250. By the way, that is the glide slope. So we not only have the localizer alive, but the glide slope as well. Speed is 240. That's too quick. Let's slow that down. We could even toss in a notch of flaps here if we wanted.
3 X-ray, you can be left.
I got right turn for 0.
Starting to pitch up just a touch.
That's fine too.
There comes my
We're at 1040 cross oil at
localizer.
8,000. The McGuire also at 2908.
I'm going to blow right through it. I'm going to have to kind of pick it up on the back side there. Oh, cleared down to 2,500. I did not see that, but it won't matter because the ILS is going to grab it here anyway. Alright, speed looks good, 210. I'm going to throw a initial notch of flaps in here, flaps 1, just to kind of bring the speed down to about 190. Okay, there we go. The glide slope's got us. I'm going to go flaps 5. There's the runway. If I needed it, I could just go completely
Whiskey Charlie Echo cross
hand flying this baby, but I want to see how well it picks up and holds the localizer.
2458 traffic's on
Definitely that was a little bit too harsh of an approach angle because, as you see, we've kind of done the S-turn thing.
Yeah, we just need one moment here so we can wait for the landing traffic.
Don't have any approach or tower, so we're just going to kind of bring it in.
50, that's fine. You can just continue holding short 22 right. Let me know you're ready.
Okay, thanks. We'll keep holding here 22 right.
Speed is a little high. Let's bring it down again. I'm estimating about a 130 VREF. So we're going to bring that down. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go flaps 15 and toss the gear down. See if we can't get that speed where we need it to be here. Still kind of S-turning. That's probably because we were a little bit quick on that turn. If I'd have been more like about 22 left, clear to land, Empress 902. If I was more like about 180 on the turn, I think I would have grabbed that localizer a little bit better. But we're slowing down nicely. Gears down, so we're going to go flaps 30. This is a flaps 30 approach. And when we get to 1,000 feet, we'll go ahead and turn the autopilot off. See how we can do here. Landing it by hand. Pretty stable so far, though, honestly. Might be just a little quick still, but the speed's still coming down.
Company 737 on Bravo and follow him.
All right, there's 1,000. Let's go ahead and see if we can get this guy on the ground. 130. Let's don't get any slower than that. I really don't know exactly what the ref speed is, but that's what we're estimating, so let's not get any slower. We are a little bit below the glide slope now, so a little speed is not a bad thing. Kind of drifting to the right a little bit here too. Need a lot of speed, I guess, to get back up to 130. Don't want to get much lower. I'm gonna have to drive like the old lady. Look underneath the the windshield wiper. Yeah, I got myself way too low, didn't I, here, guys? Oh well, I can see where I'm going. I'm a little bit right, I'm a little bit low.
And you're
Nobody better say I'm a little bit country, I'm a little bit rock and roll. That's save that joke for Rob over at Slant Alpha. Yeah, I just got way too slow here. I'm pitching up like a big sucker here. Yeah, not good. All right, nose down. Let's see where the runway is here. Yeah, now we're actually high. Oh yeah, that was bad. We can still salvage it for the most part. All right, flare it out. Semi-soft landing, just not a great approach. Alright, reversers. Won't get this high speed, but we'll catch the next one here.
2458, fly runway heading. Wind 2108, runway 22 right, line up clear for takeoff.
Scrape the tail, maybe. I'm going to get out and have to check that. That's why they install the Kevlar plates back there, right? It's downwind. Okay, so here we are. We're off, and all in all, though, I tell you what, it's clear to clean up. Bring those flaps up. Oh, I forgot to put the landing lights on. That's not good. We'll put the taxi lights on at least.
902, welcome to Kennedy. Continue on Juliet, hold for 22 right.
Continue on Juliet, we'll hold short 22 right, Empress 902. Alright. I don't have a particular gate that I'm even heading to. I haven't even thought that far ahead. I'm just going to kind of bring it in here, and I will shut it down now that I know that it loads the the last state that it was in.
Video scale is 2458.
So once we get across 22 right, actually maybe we'll do this.
070.
Maybe we should do this. Let's pick a
117,000 and
let's pick a gate here.
right turn 070.
I have a gate. Do I have a gate?
That's 58 left turn 070, please. Sorry about that. Left turn 070 to 170,000.
How about gate? Oh, I thought it was saying too small.
Continue on Juliet, cross 22 right, and after the parking traffic will hold downfield. Have a good day.
Cross 22 right and continue on Juliet, then Alpha to the gate. Thanks for the ATC. Have a great night, Empress 902.
So there's 6433.
Yeah, send me a
line up away, traffic crosses downfield.
Send me a follow me car, please. All right. Oh boy, here we go. Now we're getting those Captain Sim frame rates stutters here, aren't we? That's okay. We'll get across here, and we will let our. Because we don't need the runway turnoff lights anymore. Kind of let our follow me truck get to us, and we'll head to gate 30. Hopefully that's not clear around the other side of the world. But while we're waiting on him, let me tell you what else we have coming up on the channel here. So we're going to go on Alpha here, he said. Now I do have somebody that's waiting for me, so I'm going to get... Alright, I think it was the guy that was waiting on the 22 right, so let's... Wait, there's my taxi guy. Sweet. Alright. Let's hold here and see where he's going to take us. Probably back around where he came from. Alright. Hey. Overall, that was kind of fun, guys. I think we're going to have a little bit of fun with this plane here. Okay, while I'm taxiing in, let me tell you what I've got planned for the rest of the week. Downwind Sim, you already know. I'm going to be in the Milviz Beaver. I'm going to slap the floats on, and we are going to be flying some seaplane bases up in the Pacific Northwest, kind of Vancouver area. So that's Wednesday. And then Saturday, I'm going to jump in the... Oh boy, this guy's going to make me turn around here. I'm going to jump in the King Air, the Flight 1 King Air 200. And we're going to head over to London City. I couldn't resist. Orbix sent me a little teaser about London City being released, and so I went ahead and picked that up the other day too. That's another one downwind that we are not going to tell Mrs. First Officer about, but we're going to be over there just kind of checking out the area. There's a bunch of airfields. A while back I downloaded I purchased a scenery pack. It was the UK Airports 2000 or something like that, and it came with 30 or some, just a bunch of smaller airports, but also a few decent sized ones. So I'm gonna decide where we're gonna fly from, and we're gonna try to see if we can fly into London City. So yeah, downwind, I'm sorry, this was all done before you started talking to me about switching over to X-Plane 11, so I have not spent any extra money. This is all stuff that I bought kind of throughout the summer, and you know, anyway, yeah, please forgive me for that. Trying to throw some music on here just to kind of wrap things up, so that means that I'm sure the last 10 minutes of this stream will be muted by Twitch, even though this is an official Twitch add-on, Pretzel Rocks. I don't know. We're just trying to add a little bit of spice. You know, I kind of like it. It's wind you down for the evening, get you ready to go to bed. Usually, just watching me fly and listening to me talk is boring enough to make everybody want to fall asleep. But I thought I'd throw some, you know, some Some music in there too. Let's take a look. Beautiful Dojevsky Designs, John F. Kennedy International Airport, JFK, or as I like to call it, Fletch F. Fletch Airport. And sure enough, it appears I've picked a gate that is completely on the other side of the airport. That's what happens when you don't plan ahead. Finished with my in-flight meal. Thanks for being gentle. You're welcome, man. You know, and I got down nice and low so you could have a close-up view of the housing area around the airport, just north of the airport. You know, see what the landscape looks like, how short the grass is cut, and all that good stuff. You know, because covenants, if you're going to move out here, covenants, they're important to know. But I'll do better on that approach next time. But I tell you what, this old plane's got some possibilities, my friend. Had my window open on the approach. Yeah, with the arm hanging out. It's a beautiful night here. Okay. Hey, I see we're turning in, so we're not too far away. There's all my baggage handling stuff, and I'll have the marshaller and all that good stuff here. Really not that dark. I can go ahead and turn the taxi light off just so I don't blind him. And see if I can figure out which gate. Oh, okay, one more gate over here. Didn't taxi this guy in by the books. No, not exactly the 90-degree turns that I need, but hey, it works. This isn't Fong Zong Studios, man, where the guy never ever comes off of the taxi lines. That guy's a taxiing machine, I tell you what. Gate 14. I thought I picked gate 30. Alright, I'm not going to argue with you, GSX. I guess maybe I picked gate... Oh, 27, that's right, 27. Alright, well, let's get in here. We will get it shut down. We'll get it ready for the next flight, whenever that may be. Again, this is a variety channel in maybe the most extreme sense of the word, because it's the goal is a different plane every flight, and that's what we are shooting for. So I don't know what that means, but I think it means we're doing okay. Coming in, coming in, coming in, coming in. And right there. Alright, very nice. Brakes are set. And we can turn the... Maybe? Can we? Can we not? Alright, cutoffs. Engine cutoffs. We're just going to kind of go through here and turn everything off that was off when we showed up. Window heat, pitos. We don't need, let's see, we should have probably put the no smoking fasten seatbelt signs back on. Emergency power, we'll wait on that here for just a little bit. We are going to sneak in some external power so that we can keep things rocking and rolling literally. And this can all go to standby. Yaw damper can come off. Fuel pumps come off. Engine hydraulics will turn off. Packs come off. APU bleeds are all going to come off. Anti-collision light, position lights are off. All of this stuff is already off. Let's see. I think we're pretty close. Came to change a tire that blew off on the landing. You know, Al South, you need to rewind because that landing was as smooth as this song by Junkalicious. A little bit loud, I think. All right, boys. As always, I appreciate you guys hanging out. It's always good to talk to you. Downwind, Al South. Nick's Aviation, you came by also earlier. Thanks, buddy. Good seeing you. I hope you guys have a good remainder of your evening. There's some college football on, just saying. Notre Dame and Louisville. Pretty good game so far. So you have a chance to still do some relaxing and festivizing here before you have to go back to the old sawmill tomorrow. So, all right, I'm out. Have an awesome night. We'll see you on the TCAS, and take care. God bless.